SCP-2692 Remains of Subterranean France. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Locations demarcated Point 92A, 92B, and 92E are cordoned off from their respective surrounding areas and placed under guard by security personnel. Locations demarcated Point 92C, 92D, and 92F, while displaying no anomalous behavior nor any further connections to SCP-2692, are to remain under constant video surveillance. SCP-2692-A is to be tracked via unmanned aerial drone on rotating patrols. Changes to subject's orientation and/or position are to be logged. Any alterations to object's position which places it at risk of discovery are to be noted and acted upon by drone operators and/or Station 114 personnel as needed. Effective methods of obfuscation have included use of dummy balloons or blimps to prevent identification of SCP-2692-A. Accessible entrances to SCP-2692 are monitored with video surveillance, while the entrances themselves are monitored by on-site personnel. Individuals emerging from either point are to be debriefed if necessary and released. Note: as of December 14, 2014, exploration of SCP-2692 via Point 92B is suspended indefinitely following Incident 1412-14. Contact with SCP-2692-B and C is strictly forbidden. Description: SCP-2692 is an extra-dimensional underground complex apparently established and maintained by the government of France. Footnote 1. No records of the complex, nor the events detailed by material recovered from the complex, could be found or verified with the French government. The size and scale of the complex cannot be determined, as significant portions are impassable due to cave-ins, structural damage, and apparent flaws in design, which disallow movement of barriers without fully functioning electricity. The presence of two or more gravitational anomalies within the complex appear to have contributed to significant time dilation in several areas within SCP-2692. Despite this, Foundation personnel entering and exiting SCP-2692 have experienced little to no signs of time dilation. Footnote 2. The most extreme levels of displacement have not exceeded 40 minutes time lost or gained. SCP-2692 is populated with numerous human and humanoid entities, apparently frozen in various states depending on location. The positioning and body language of individuals, as well as discrepancies in attire, physical health, and items recovered on persons, indicate groups of individuals recovered together, despite physical proximity to other groups, do not inhabit the same epoch and/or place as others. Bodies have been described as warm and fragile to the touch, and display no vital signs. The placement of individuals within SCP-2692 appears to have no relation to physical proximity to one or both of the gravitational anomalies. There is no sign that the individuals have been moved by other unknown individuals prior to Foundation recovery. SCP-2692-A is a humanoid apparently frozen in mid-stride, suspended redacted meters over redacted, first discovered on Redacted 1996. Most of the figure's physical features, including clothing, have been eroded due to weather conditions. A metal tablet enclosed in the figure's grip contains several geographic coordinates engraved upon it. Footnote 3. Engravings have survived weathering due to being covered by SCP-2692-A's arm prior to retrieval. Severe weather conditions damaged the subject's arm, and Foundation personnel removed the arm due to risk of the arm falling off and becoming lost. The figure is immovable, although it has been observed at times rising or falling, in one instance reaching an altitude of redacted meters. The surviving coordinates led Foundation personnel to points 92A through F. Each point contained a staircase leading down to a metal door approximately 10 meters below the start of the stairs, leading directly to SCP-2692 itself. Points 92C, D, and F were damaged and filled in with debris, and did not lead anywhere. Points 92A, B, and E were undamaged, often a result of being integrated into certain buildings, and led successfully to SCP-2692. Exploration logs. Initial exploration of SCP-2692 via Point 92A provided little background for the complex, although upon the agent's return, a woman was discovered close to the entrance in the process of looting one of the humanoid bodies. The woman spoke an unknown dialect of French with many English loanwords, and required a battery of medical tests and vaccinations before interrogation could begin. Following several weeks of treatment and meeting with Foundation linguists, the following information was obtained from the woman. Item 9948, Summary of Events. Interrogators: Agents Hawksley, Perez, Jameston, Yules, and De La Herte were responsible for conducting 17 separate interviews with the subject, hereafter referred to as Subject 92. Transcripts of each interview are available on site upon request. Subject 92. Subject's medical records are available on site upon request. Subject claimed to be between 40 and 50 years of age, although they could not confirm an exact date of birth. Despite this, subject appears to be between the ages of 20 and 30, with signs of brain tissue damage consistent with frequent instances of traumatic encephalopathy. As a result, subject suffers from symptoms consistent with dementia and Alzheimer's. Subject keeps scraps of paper in their pockets with information written in the form of pictograms. Subject is unable to read or write in English or French. Subject background. The subject could provide a very brief summary of events which had initially occurred within SCP-2692, as they claimed these events to be difficult to separate from myths and legends. Subject claimed the events of having unfolded before my own bastard bloodline existed, and could not provide a timeline beyond approximately 70 to 90 years, only accounting for the subject's great-grandparents on her mother's side. SCP-2692 background. Subject provided information in fragments, based upon her own explorations and stories told by her parents. Presented with the events after the interviews, the subject pieced them together and produced the following rough chronology. An undated, unknown crisis affects most of eastern France, leading to a political crisis involving the suspension of property rights for naturalized citizens. Redistribution of wealth becomes a heated issue among the populace, and anti-immigration sentiment is played upon as prescriptions to take place in order to finance a 4-year mass migration effort of all French citizens. Civilian, military, and cargo ships are employed to move the population across the Atlantic Ocean, destined for locations all along the coast of North and South America. Some appear destined for Southeast Asia. The influx of French refugees to the United States leads to a compromise involving the creation of a subterranean city to house much of the refugees and placed under the jurisdiction of the French government. Subject could not provide details on the means or time frame of construction. Following its construction, a 25-year unification plan is implemented. The plan appears to involve the expansion of the subterranean complex in order to provide more living space for French citizens in South America and Southeast Asia. Expansion efforts briefly stall midway through the unification plan, and a new escape plan is developed for several sectors of the complex. Conflict erupts over the plan due to implications involving the separation of family members, loss of specialized knowledge, and skills between displaced gateways. An unknown disaster leads to a complete loss of contact between sectors of the complex. It is unknown how long this lasts, though the subject claims that parliamentary sessions saw the number of assembly persons halved over the course of nearly a dozen elections. Subject claims her mother blamed this on the presence of the gateways, although the subject does not remember what gateways this referred to. At some point preceding a presidential election, the initial crisis which had triggered the mass migration reappears. The aforementioned escape plan is reintroduced, and a vote approving execution of the plan passes. Subject claims this led directly to the breakdown of stability within the complex and the start of the Great Scarcity. Explorations of SCP-2692. Full logs of all Foundation explorations of SCP-2692 are filed on site. Snippets are contained here for brevity. Log of Point 92A. Entryway. Staircase is partially collapsed, with niches in the left side wall. Agents report finding 2 female humanoids seated in one of the niches, coated in a layer of frost. One is holding a composition notebook, item 9948, and a pill bottle containing 137 tablets of a drug labeled Methocyclidine. Prescription was filled on a date labeled 16/15/99. At the bottom of the staircase, an elevated platform appears before a television screen. Motion sensors trigger the television, which begins to play a recording of a burly man with an unusually small head addressing someone off-screen concerning a person named Eric. They then address the viewer, welcoming them to the West End and describing a litany of benefits associated with their new job, including being first ones out the gates and first dibs on the new drugs. The individual then asserts that all complaints should be issued to Eric. They then give a boisterous laugh, then apologize and assure the viewers in a grave tone, everything will be okay. At the far end of this area, agents discover the outline of a door against the wall. A niche in the wall is partially filled with wooden blocks printed with black and blue letters. The blocks spell out Madagas. The empty space in the niche is enough to fit 3 additional blocks, although no other blocks can be found. Note: later expeditions attempting to substitute the blocks had no visual effect on the doorway. No further rooms or doorways were discovered, and agents are unable to proceed further. Agents return from expedition, noting a time difference of 14 minutes. Agent stopwatches report the entire expedition as lasting 52 minutes. On-site personnel report expedition lasting approximately 38 minutes. Log of Point 92B. Entryway. Staircase leads to a partially lit hallway. At the end of the hall is a door leading into an apparent storage area. From here, another door leads into a large, dimly lit hall, with the floor covered in scraps of paper. Several human figures are frozen in place before a stage, heads raised towards watching a large video screen. A looping video clip depicts an elderly Asian man smiling and giving a speech, occasionally panning out to show an audience applauding. Subtitles appear in English, reading, "The science is sound. The Africa question is behind us. The future is ours. We have but to step through the gate and claim it." No sound is heard from the television screen or the audience. On stage is a hairless, pale humanoid figure in a suit with an abnormally large mouth apparently screaming while swinging their head in a circle. The figure appears to be in pain. Neither they nor any individual in the crowd is responsive to the agents. A sign next to the figure, in apparent English, reads, "I am the best candidate. Vote 1996. One of the papers recovered from the floor is a flyer, in English and French, warning of a hypofemoral hemorrhaging, which can only be treated with therapy, vitamins, and use of one of two different prescription medications, both subsidized by the local government. One of the medications is methocyclidine, the same recovered from point 92A, and claims to be a brain relaxant, muscle stimulant, identity supplement. The other is named Valzin, and claims to ease dermal, subdermal, or supradermal outbreaks. The flyer additionally states that the drug manufacturers cannot guarantee consistency following escape, nor any unforeseen effects caused by atmospheric and/or gravitational alterations caused by the gateways. Another sheet recovered contains handwritten messages, apparently from two different individuals. One has written, "Why risk our lives, our people, when Madagascar awaits? This is reality, not a science fair." There are no other doors or entryways in this area, and agents return from expedition, noting a time difference of 40 minutes. Agents report the expedition as lasting 21 minutes. On-site personnel report the expedition as approximately 61 minutes in length. Log of Point 92E. Entryway. Atrium leads directly into cafeteria area. The floor is caked in what is later determined to be a dried slurry of meat, bone, and plant matter. The room is populated by human figures in various stages of decomposition, apparently in panic attempting to reach an exit on the left end of the room. Several individuals closer to this door appear to be attacking or otherwise attempting to prevent the others from reaching the exit. At the far end of the room on an elevated niche is a human woman standing erect and clutching a metal tablet similar to the one found on SCP-2692-A. This entity is apparently aware of its surroundings and has attempted to respond to Foundation agents. Due to the apparent temporal effects of the gravitational anomalies, the individual is moving at a significantly slower rate than Foundation personnel and was not initially perceived as responsive by Foundation personnel. Agents returned from expedition, noting no time difference from minutes logged by on-site personnel. Expedition lasted 113 minutes. Note: as of redacted, the entity has begun to respond to initial Foundation attempts to communicate made on May 22, 2000. Insufficient time has elapsed for the entity to have produced a coherent response. Incident 1412-14. Revision to prior Incident 2211-99, in which two agents, Agents Carbo and Mendoza, failed to return from an expedition and were not located by follow-up expeditions. On December 14, 2014, Agents Carbo and Mendoza reappeared 4 meters from the entrance to Point 92B, apparently frozen mid-stride up the staircase, with Agent Mendoza looking back over her shoulder at Agent Carbo several steps down. Both women were warm to the touch and displayed no vital signs. The area was closed down and the two agents designated SCP-2692-B and C. Addendum. Redacted months following Incident 1412-14, the positioning of Agents Carbo and Mendoza appeared to have changed, having shifted in pose, eyelids closed, and positions elevated 1.5 centimeters in height. The similarities in behavior to humanoid entities within SCP-2692 indicate a likely connection with the agents similarly affected by the gravitational anomalies' time dilation effects. Thank you for listening to SCP-2692, Remains of Subterranean France by Andariel Halo. If you enjoyed this SCP, please like and subscribe, and follow the link in the description to the SCP Wiki, and vote up the article to support the author and the SCP Wiki as a whole.